This is BNN, the Bennington News Network.
Great, we're on question number 4, and Mike, we're going to start with you on this one. So fast forward, you're now serving on the select board. What do you expect from your fellow selectors and from the citizens of Bennington?
Well, I guess maybe I'd start that by talking about myself on the select board. I think that I have the opportunity to bring a fairly long and extensive continuum of involvement in issues in the community, and I think that would provide value to the board. I think that it's important that this next board continues in the directions that we've all mentioned tonight, and understanding Tom's sense of impatience to get to some finish lines. They might not be all the finish lines, but there certainly are some attainable goals in reach, and it would be nice for us to be able to move in that regard. And looking at the broader picture of the community, I think that we all have a responsibility to face our realities together, and to not denigrate the opinions that each of us might have, to get behind a common goal, whether it be dealing with the drug addiction and crime problem that is emerging and becoming so much a part of everyone's daily life. The questions concerning economic development and being able to move forward to provide good living wage jobs within the community, and the housing that is necessary to support that. The community needs to partner with the select board.
Thank you. Jean, you're up.
What my dream would be working on at the select board would be that we would be friends. We would all be friends with each other, and we would obviously treat each other with respect. I would hope that all of us would be able to have open minds and be willing to listen to new ideas and to work together for the greater good of the community. I think there's always a danger when you get on a board that you're thinking about your own life and your own neighborhood, but I think as select board members, we all need to be able to think about everyone, from the most prosperous people in our community to the people that need the most help. And if we could do that together, along with the community, I mean, everyone would rise up. And that's one of the main reasons I am doing this, is because I really feel like that we need to be looking out for each other. We live here together. And I think we can learn from each other, our own experiences as select board members, and we can also learn from everyone in the community, because everyone has a story, and everyone's here for a different reason and stays here for a different reason, moved here for a different reason, and that's the fabric of the community. And that's probably one of the positive sides about having a select board, is that we have so many different perspectives. I think there's strength in that. So that's it.
Thank you. Tom, the question goes to you.
What's the question again?
The question was, fast forward, you're on the select board. What do you expect from your fellow selectors and the citizens of Bennington?
I expect my fellow ladies and gentlemen on that board to recognize there's a lot of heavy lifting, that we're just volunteers like many of the folks in the audience and yourselves in the panel. The select board job is not 2 hours every 2 weeks. You can spend as much or as little time, but I think the more time you spend, the more you can give to the community, which is a return to the community. I do find that there's going to be even more of that lifting that we're going to all have to do together as a community. The community has got to support the select board. It's fine to have a conflicting opinion, but frankly, we are the elected officials, and we hope that you would get behind us as a community. And at the same time, the select board has to listen to the community. We are not out there on our own. We're not, we're elected, and we can be unelected just as easily. But at the same time, I think the community, once the decision is made, has really got to, if not rally around it, support it to the point that it gets implemented so that we as a community can move forward and be positive about the future.
Thank you. Jeannie, a question goes to you.
Well, I think what I would expect first, I would expect honesty, transparency, and for all of us to be working for the greater good of the community. And I think that sets a tone for us to be civil, both among members of the board, but also with the community at large. I'm also action-oriented and fairly impatient, so I like to see things happen. I also think it's incredibly important to slow down and take the time to hear what people are thinking and look at an issue from all angles. So I think there's a push-pull in terms of moving forward, but I think it's really important to involve the community always. I think we want to be able to set goals. We want to look at what the issues are out there and what we can accomplish and how we engage the full community in these efforts. We have a community that's very giving of their time, of their resources, and of their money. And I think the select board will be stronger if we can engage the public in everything that we're doing. So I think my goal would be for us to not always agree, but for all of us to always be listening to each other and evaluating the sense in what we have to say.
Thank you, Jeannie. Don, you're up.
I like going last. I can agree with everybody. You know, it's fabulous. My expectations of other selectors would be, as we've heard, that people would be open. One of my pet peeves on the national and state level, and I certainly wouldn't expect to find it on the local level, is this polarization where people tend to grab to an extreme, and I don't understand how those people come back together and really work together. From what I don't like the idea of backstabbing and innuendo and finger pointing. So as others have said, I think the key is that everybody listens to everybody. It's amazing what you hear, and when you get a piece from here and a piece from there and a piece from there, sometimes it's amazing what comes together. And then you can work together, and what you're getting buy-in from the whole board. That's pretty nice, but it takes time. I don't know how much time you really have to discuss all the issues, but my expectation and dream would be that people would find the time, they would be open, they would be courteous, and they would not try to sub what somebody else is saying. From the citizen viewpoint, I expect the citizens, like what Ginny said, that we have wonderful, wonderful citizens. I often think back to Dorothy Canfield Fisher's book on Vermont tradition, the biography of Vermont tradition, that life. The people who came here 250 years ago were strong. They were creative. They were filling the blanks. They did it. They pulled themselves up by the bootstraps. They were strong. And I think the Vermonters are still that way. That's the ideal. That's the goal. And I think if you give people the chance to be involved, to participate, then they will respond and they'll help lead. And then we can go together, board and citizens.